In recent seasons of St. Louis Shakespeare, adaptations by David Ives have been second in frequency only to plays by the company's namesake. The previous two Ives productions were what he calls translaptations of comedies originally written in French. Ives borrowed the framework of the originals by Corneille and Regnard, but took more liberties than a translator would to make the scripts accessible to modern audiences. Translation was not required for Is He Dead, St. Louis Shakespeare's most recent Ives adaptation, but much more effort was required of Ives than when he was dealing with the work of experienced playwrights. The original version of Is He Dead was written by Mark Twain, whose place among the immortals is secure as a humorist and a novelist, but he wasn't a playwright. Productions of the play were scheduled for both London and New York in 1898, but they never happened. The play was still on stage more than a century later when Stanford professor Shelley Fisher Fishkin happened upon the manuscript in the Twain collection at UC Berkeley. Her scholarly edition of Twain's original was published in 2003, but this version is as unproducible as ever. Ives was recruited to fix it. He cut the number of acts from 3 to 2, reduced the number of actors required by about 2/3 to as few as 11, refashioned the plot, and introduced his own flair for language. The result satisfied Twain scholar Fishkin and audiences on Broadway in 2007. I saw that production, which featured St. Louis native Norbert Leo Butz. I enjoyed the play then, and I enjoyed it again at St. Louis Shakespeare. The main character is the great French painter Jean-François Millet, who is hopelessly in debt to his art dealer. Millet's fellow artists and his beloved's father are all in hock to the same loan shark. The outlook for all of them is bleak until they learn from a prospective buyer that the works of art they can't sell now would go for princely sums if the painter were dead. Millet is chosen to take one for the team so that his posthumous sales can make everyone rich. To make the plan work, Millet has to disappear, but he is allowed to return to the company of the living as his own sister, a widow from Provence. The expected windfall does come about, but so do plenty of unanticipated complications. Zach McMillan had fun with Millet's loss of reticence when he appears in drag as his sister, the widow. Ben Ritchie was a hiss-worthy villain as the usurious art dealer. Josella demonstrated admirable versatility in a variety of parts meant to be played by the same person. Jacob Cans, John Fisher, and Jack Zanger found the comedy in Millet's fellow artists. Nicole Angeli and Jennifer Thebe Quinn had fun with the foibles of Millet's landladies. Molly McCaskill charmed as Millet's sweetheart, while Timothy Callahan displayed the effects of age and worry on her father. Natalie Walker was a hoot as his other daughter, who goes undercover to root out wrongdoing. Director Edward Caulfield kept the comedy flowing at a good pace on Matt Stuckel's impressive set for the art studio. The atmosphere was enhanced by J.C. Krychek's period costumes, John Taylor's lighting, Meg Brinkley's props, and Ted Drury's sound. This production of Is He Dead had plenty of life.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it is owed to David Ives. Twain took a pretty conventional kind of melodrama about the villainous moneylender, and then the idea of the drag dress. I don't know if he picked it up from Charlie's Aunt or where, but not unknown. But it was good. David Ives tweaked the comic lines quite a bit.
And we love his lines, don't we?
Yes.